What if I told you that 30 days from now, you could become completely unrecognizable to the person you are today? Not because you win the lottery, not because some miracle lands in your lap, but because you made one decision. A small, invisible shift, so subtle that no one around you notices it, yet powerful enough to rewrite the entire trajectory of your life. It's not a trick, it's not a hack, it's not even that hard. But it is the one thing most people will never do. Not because it doesn't work, but because they'll quit 5 days in. They'll doubt it 10 days in. And they'll forget it 15 days in. So they never get to see what happens on day 30. But you're not most people, because you're still here. And if you stay with me for the next few minutes, I'm going to walk you through a 30-day transformation plan so powerful, it's been hidden in plain sight for over 100 years. Used by everyone from billionaires to spiritual masters to people who were once completely lost until they did this. If any part of you feels like life has more to offer than what you've been living, or if you've ever said to yourself, I know I was meant for more, then subscribe now, because this channel is not just motivation, it's a wake-up call. And today might be the day everything starts to change. Here's what no one tells you. Success, fulfillment, peace of mind, these things don't come from some giant overnight epiphany. They come from a pattern, a daily rhythm, a subconscious program that's been running your life on autopilot. Right now, 97% of people are stuck in a loop they didn't choose. Wake up, phone scroll, same thoughts, same self-doubt, same emotional triggers. React, survive, distract, sleep, repeat. And the wild part is, most people think this is just life. They don't realize their results aren't random. They're repetition. Here's the truth they don't want you to know. Your life isn't the product of your potential. It's the product of your habits. And habits aren't just what you do. They're what you believe, what you expect, what you say to yourself in the quiet when no one's watching. So when we say, do this for 30 days, we're not talking about another to-do list. We're talking about rewriting the script in your subconscious that's been quietly running your life into the ground. Comment below, what is the one habit that's held you back the longest? Just putting it in writing might be the first step in killing it. Because the moment you become aware of your programming, you're no longer a victim of it. Now let's get practical. Here's the first transformation trigger. Write this down. It sounds simple, but if you actually do it for 30 days, it will break the mental chains that have kept you stuck. Trigger number 1, I am becoming. Every morning, the first thing you say to yourself, before the phone, before the emails, is a statement that starts with this phrase, I am becoming. I am becoming strong. I am becoming fearless. I am becoming wealthy. I am becoming someone who finishes what they start. Say it, mean it, even if you don't fully believe it yet, because your brain isn't wired to respond to truth. It's wired to respond to repetition. Your subconscious doesn't care if it's real. It cares if it's rehearsed. And every time you repeat that phrase with feeling, with vision, you're reprogramming the GPS of your life. Not toward who you used to be, but toward who you could be. Let me tell you what happens around day 10. Doubt creeps in. Your old voice whispers, this is stupid, it's not working. And that's when most people quit. But you won't. Because now you know that resistance, that's the old version of you fighting for survival. It's not truth, it's fear. And fear always shows up right before the breakthrough. If you're still with me, I want you to pause for just 10 seconds and say it out loud right now. I am becoming. Say it with your chest, because you're not faking it, you're training it. This is day 1. You don't need to know what day 30 looks like. You just need to show up today and tomorrow and the next. You do that, and I promise you, you won't even recognize yourself when we get to the end.
Let me ask you a question. When was the last time you felt fully alive? Not scrolling, not distracting yourself, not numbing your soul with endless noise, but really present, in the moment. Awake, like your soul was on fire. For most people, it's been a while, because the truth is we've been trained to live in reaction. We wake up responding to alarms, notifications, pressure, not purpose. And that's the problem, because the more you react, the less you create. And if you're not creating, you're not living. You're just managing decline. But here's the shift. It's small, it's powerful, it changes everything. Trigger number 2, the morning activation. From this moment forward, the first 60 minutes of your day are sacred. No phone, no news, no outside noise. Just you and the future you're building. And here's the rule. You own the first hour, or you lose the whole day. Start with 10 minutes of silence. Not meditation if that's not your thing, just stillness. Let your mind detox. Let the noise settle. Breathe. Listen. Then write. 5 goals. Not the big, far, someday goals. Write what you're committed to becoming, what habits you're building, what your life will look like 30 days from now, 1 year from now, 5 years. This rewires your mind to stop surviving and start directing. And I know what you're thinking. Sounds good, but I'm not a morning person. Neither were the 3 people I coached who tripled their income, rebuilt their confidence, and finally stopped feeling lost. They didn't need more time. They needed more ownership. You don't need a full hour right away. Start with 10 minutes tomorrow. Just 10. And tell me in the comments how you feel afterward. Because most people don't need more motivation. They just need to feel their own power again. You with me? Let's keep going. Because by now, if you've done the 2 triggers, you're waking up with more clarity than you've had in months. But clarity without commitment is just another form of procrastination. So here's where the transformation gets real. Trigger number 3, micro commitments. Every morning, you write down one hard thing. Just one. Something you've been avoiding. It might be making the phone call, sending the email, going for the walk, saying what needs to be said, applying for the job, filming the video, writing the first paragraph of the book. And here's the rule. You do it before noon. Why? Because your willpower is highest in the morning and your fear is weakest when you attack it first. You do one scary, growth-aligned thing every morning for 30 days, you will change. You will. By day 12, you will feel it. A strange confidence. Not loud, not arrogant, but steady, calm. A quiet fire inside you that says, I don't break promises to myself anymore. That feeling, that's the birth of self-trust. And once you have that, you're unstoppable. Drop this in the comments. I don't break promises to myself. Say it. Claim it. That's your new identity. Now, I know some of you are thinking, this all sounds powerful, but what if I miss a day? Here's the answer. Don't miss twice. That's it. We're not chasing perfection. We're chasing momentum. You miss once, life happens. You miss twice, that's a new habit. So you protect this new identity like it's your life. Because in a way, it is. Let me tell you a story. There was a man, early 30s. He was broke, overweight, divorced, and sleeping in his car. He had no plan, no self-worth, no direction. But one night, he found an old recording from a guy named Napoleon Hill. And something clicked. Not because it was new, but because he was finally ready to hear it. It said, "You are the master of your fate, the captain of your soul." That line, it shattered him, because for the first time, he realized he had given his steering wheel to fear. So the next morning, he woke up, sat in silence, wrote one sentence: "I am not finished yet." And then he made one call. And then the next day he showed up again. 30 days later, he wasn't rich, but he wasn't broken anymore. He had momentum. And 6 months later, he had a new life. In part 3, we're going to unlock the emotional wiring behind all lasting change. The one thing that keeps people addicted to their old story and how you can break free permanently. But for now, you got 3 triggers. You got the fire lit, and you got no excuse not to start. This your day 1. The only question left is, will there be a day 30?
Let's get honest. If changing your life were just about habits and routines, you'd already be there. You've seen the productivity hacks, you've read the quotes, you've probably even written a few goals. But here you are, still wondering why you fall back. Still waking up with that pit in your stomach. Still watching others move forward while you feel like you're running in place. Why? Because the part no one talks about, the part that buries 97% of people in quiet frustration, isn't lack of motivation. It's emotional attachment to your old identity. Let me explain. Every time you try to grow, there's a version of you that feels threatened. Not because growth is bad, but because it means death to the person you've been. And the human mind hates death, even if it's just the death of a belief, a label, a story. So every time you try to rise, your subconscious whispers, "Who do you think you are? You've tried this before. You're not that type of person. Don't get your hopes up." Sound familiar? That's not reality speaking. That's your identity trying to survive. And until you rewire it, you will always snap back to the version of you that feels safe, familiar, known. So let's flip the script. Trigger number 4, identity declaration. For the next 30 days, every single night before you go to bed, write out the following phrase by hand. "I no longer identify with," and finish that sentence. Maybe it's, "I no longer identify with being a procrastinator. I no longer identify with staying silent when I need to speak. I no longer identify with being broke, bitter, or broken." Then immediately follow it with, "I now choose to become," and finish that sentence too. This is not fluff. This is psychology. Your brain is a pattern recognition machine, and identity is the strongest pattern it protects. The moment you start redefining yourself in writing, night after night, you're not just doing personal development, you're doing neuro-reconstruction. You're sending a message to your subconscious. The old story is not welcome here anymore. Drop your own declaration in the comments right now. No matter how small, no matter how raw, say it publicly, own it fully. Because the version of you who hits day 30, they aren't afraid of the light anymore. Let's keep going, because now that we've broken emotional addiction to the old self, it's time to rebuild. Trigger number 5, emotional visualization. Here's the mistake most people make with vision boards, affirmations, all of that. They say the right things, they write down the right goals, but they feel nothing. And the brain doesn't rewire by what you write, it rewires by what you feel. So for 5 minutes each morning, right after your I am becoming declaration, you're going to close your eyes and feel what day 30 looks like. Not imagine, feel. Feel the confidence. Feel the discipline. Feel the clarity when you wake up in a room you paid for, built by work you love, surrounded by energy that aligns with your soul. See your face. See your posture. See your bank account. See your peace of mind. Feel it like it's already yours. And then say, "This is my new normal." That phrase is key. Why? Because your subconscious doesn't care about someday. It's trained by what feels familiar. So if you make your dream feel familiar daily, emotionally, intentionally, your brain starts building bridges toward it automatically. This is what the top 3% do without even knowing it. This is why they move different, talk different, live different. Because their nervous system is calibrated for success, not survival. Let me say something hard but true. If you've struggled for years to break through, it's not because you're broken. It's because you've spent your whole life emotionally rehearsing the wrong identity. But now you're choosing something better, something bigger, something truer. And I promise, if you feel it every day, it will show up in your reality. Because the world doesn't give you what you want, it gives you who you've rehearsed being. Pause the video after this line and go sit with your eyes closed for 5 minutes. No music, no talking, just feel it. You do that for 30 days, watch how your reality bends to meet your belief. Now here's where it gets even deeper, because everything we've done so far, it's primed your body, your habits, your mind, your emotions, but there's one more force. The one that most people don't even know they're fighting. The force that keeps your future locked behind the invisible prison of your comfort zone. And in part 4, we're going to face it head on.
Let's talk about the biggest invisible wall between you and the life you want. It's not laziness. It's not lack of talent. It's not time, age, money, or opportunity. It's this one toxic belief buried deep inside almost every person you know. I'm not enough. That sentence may not live in your conscious mind. You might not walk around saying it, but it shows up. It shows up every time you undercharge, every time you don't speak up, every time you say maybe later to something you know you're meant to do now, every time you say, who am I to? That belief, it's not yours. It was planted in you by a parent, a teacher, a moment you never even processed. One moment of rejection, and your brain recorded a lie as truth. And now, decades later, you're living by a rule you never agreed to, that you're not worthy unless you prove yourself. So you chase, you grind, you achieve, you burn out, but it's never enough, because the lie still sits under everything you build. But here's the truth that changes everything. You are not what happened to you. You are what you decide to become. That's not a slogan. It's a decision. And today, you're going to make it. Trigger number 6, truth override. Every time that voice of self-doubt shows up in the next 30 days, you interrupt it with one phrase. That's not my truth. Say it out loud, whisper it, shout it, doesn't matter, but don't let the lie go unchallenged. Because every time you let a thought of fear or shame or limitation pass through your mind unchallenged, you give it power. Here's how it works. Fear says, you're not qualified. You say, that's not my truth. Doubt says, you always quit. You say, that's not my truth. Insecurity says, no one will listen to you. You say, that's not my truth. Because it's not. Your truth is bigger. It's buried under years of noise, but it's still there. And if you fight for it, you'll get it back. Right now, pause this video for 60 seconds and write down the last lie you caught yourself believing. Put it in the comments if you're bold, because the more you name the lie, the less power it has over your life. You don't fight darkness by pushing it away. You fight it by turning on the light. Let me tell you about James. James grew up believing he was worthless, abandoned as a kid, failed in school, told he'd never be anything. By 28, he was working 3 jobs and still broke. Every time he tried to do something bold, that voice came back. You're nothing. Then one night, James sat in his tiny apartment with a blank notebook, and he wrote something he'd never said out loud. I was lied to. That night changed everything, because once he saw the belief as a lie, he could stop living like it was true. That was 5 years ago. Today, James owns a consulting business, has a family he loves, and teaches other men how to rebuild their lives. He's not a guru. He's not special. He just learned to stop feeding the lie. And now, so can you. Trigger number 7, truth ritual. Every Sunday night for the next 4 weeks, sit alone in silence. Turn off all music, no distractions, and write out one lie you believed this week, one truth that replaced it, one action you took that aligned with your new identity. This is your weekly calibration. This is how you hardwire the change. Not by listening, not by watching, but by documenting the internal shift. You want real transformation? This is the part everyone skips. They chase motivation but ignore integration. They get inspired but never get rewired. Not you. You're building a new foundation, and the new you, they don't build on lies. Let this sink in. You've made it halfway. And if you followed the steps, if you've done the work, you're not the same person who clicked play on part 1. You're waking up on purpose. You're speaking to yourself differently. You're taking action you used to avoid. You're choosing truth over comfort. This isn't self-help. This is spiritual renovation. This is a full system reset. This is your real life finally beginning. If this is hitting deep, don't keep it to yourself. Send this to someone you love, because breakthroughs don't just change your life, they ripple into every soul connected to you. Now listen closely. In part 5, we're about to hit the engine behind all momentum. It's not hustle. It's not discipline. It's not motivation. It's emotional leverage. And once you learn how to trigger that on command, you'll never be able to stay stuck again.
By now you've started doing the hard work, rewriting your identity, facing down lies, taking action you used to avoid. But here's a secret that almost no one talks about. Lasting change isn't logical. It's emotional. You don't change because it makes sense. You change because something hits you so hard emotionally, you can't go back to the way things were. Think about it. The moment you decided to finally move on from that toxic relationship, was it because of a checklist? Or because you had one emotional moment where you realized, I'm done? The time you walked away from a job you hated, was it because of numbers on a spreadsheet? Or because you looked in the mirror one day and said, I can't live like this anymore? Change happens when the pain of staying the same becomes greater than the fear of the unknown. So if you want to transform in 30 days, you need to build emotional leverage. Let's make this real. Trigger number 8, never again visualization. Every morning, before you do anything, you're going to spend 3 minutes visualizing what your life looks like if you do nothing. I'm serious. Most people avoid this because it's uncomfortable, but discomfort is where the power lives. Visualize it. Waking up 5 years from now, in the same apartment, with the same habits, the same bank account, the same stress, the same regret. Imagine watching your dreams slip away, piece by piece, not because someone stole it, but because you stayed safe. Picture yourself explaining to your kids why you gave up on your goals, why you stayed small, why you let fear run your life. Let it hit you. Let it sting. That sting, that's fuel. You have to feel the pain of inaction until it burns hotter than the discomfort of change. Now here's the key. When that fire is lit, you move. You don't sit in it. You don't wallow. You use it. Immediately write one thing you'll do today to make sure that version of your future never happens. That's how you create emotional leverage, on demand. Right now, I want you to comment, "Never again." Just those 2 words. Let the old story know you're not going back. You're not available for that version of your life anymore. Now let's talk about the other side of emotional leverage. Pain can push you, but vision pulls you. The most powerful transformation happens when you're no longer just running from something, but running toward something bigger. So here's what you do. Trigger number 9, why that makes you cry. Tonight, I want you to ask yourself this: what is so meaningful to me that if I don't do it in this lifetime, something inside me will die? Sit with that. This isn't just about goals. It's about your calling. Your true why will make you emotional. It will choke you up when you talk about it. It might feel irrational or even scary. That's good. That means it's real. Write it down. Not in your phone, on paper. Put it somewhere you'll see it every day. Tape it to your bathroom mirror, your fridge, your dashboard. Let it haunt you, in the best way. Because when your why is strong enough, your excuses stop sounding smart. Let me be clear. You will be tested. Not maybe, not someday. It's coming. Around day 21, you'll feel it. The voice will come back. This is pointless. You're not changing anything. Just skip today. And in that moment, you'll have 2 choices. Return to the old story, or remember the future you swore you'd never settle for. That's when emotional leverage saves you. Not motivation, not logic, but the decision you made when the pain was fresh and the vision was clear. That's why this isn't just some 30-day challenge. This is identity warfare. And the real you, the one who's been buried under fear, shame, doubt, is finally waking up. If this is hitting deep, I want you to pause and ask yourself, what future do I refuse to die without creating? Write it down, say it out loud, and promise yourself you'll build it brick by brick, starting now. And listen, in part 6, we're going to shift from emotion to structure, because fire is useless without focus. We're going to install the daily system used by high performers, billionaires, Navy SEALs, and artists alike to make sure progress happens even on the days you don't feel like it. No fluff, no hype, just results. But for now, breathe in what you've just unlocked, because this fire inside you, it's not temporary. It's real.
Here's a hard truth no one likes to hear. Your future is only as strong as your systems. Not your excitement, not your mood, not your motivation. Because motivation fades. Emotions are unpredictable. But systems, they're solid. They're reliable. They're what carry you through when everything else fails. And this is where most people fall short. They get inspired. They make changes. But they build it all on hope. Hope is a beautiful place to start, but it's a terrible place to build. If you want real transformation in 30 days, you need a structure that protects your growth even when your feelings don't. So let's build it. Trigger number 10, the power block. From this moment on, you're going to set aside one non-negotiable hour every day. This is your power block, your sacred time for building the future version of yourself. No distractions, no multitasking, no social media, just execution. Here's how you use it. First 15 minutes, reflect. Read your goals, journal your mindset, review yesterday.
Anchor into your purpose. Next 30 minutes, build. Take action that moves you forward. Film the video, write the chapter, make the sales call, learn the skill. Don't think, just do. Final 15 minutes, reinforce. Visualize again. Reconnect with your why. Log your progress. Build self-trust by finishing strong. You do this for 30 days, you'll become someone who gets things done no matter what. And that version of you, they win. Right now, in the comments, write this. My power block starts at blank AM. Set the time. Own it. Declare it. Because transformation doesn't happen in your head, it happens on your calendar. Let's level up even more. Because now that you have daily momentum, it's time to introduce the system that makes sure your life never becomes reactive again. Trigger number 11, Sunday Strategy Session. Every Sunday, for the next 30 days, you're going to sit down for 30 uninterrupted minutes and do 3 things. Review the past week. What worked? What didn't? Where did I show up like my future self? Where did I slip into the old version of me? Plan the week ahead. What are my 3 most important outcomes this week? What's one thing I'll do daily to stay aligned? When is my power block scheduled? Reconnect with the vision. Reread your why. Visualize your day 30. Say it out loud. I am becoming the person I was born to be. This is how champions live. They don't let life happen to them. They architect it. You want to be dangerous? Become the kind of person who starts Monday already clear and locked in. While everyone else is reacting to chaos, you're executing your plan, quietly, powerfully, with precision. This is how the 1% think. Not, how do I feel today? But what must get done regardless of how I feel. Let me tell you something. Discipline isn't punishment. It's freedom. Freedom from doubt. Freedom from emotional roller coasters. Freedom from the trap of waking up every day wondering what the hell you're doing with your life. Discipline is love. Love for the future you. Love for the people counting on you. Love for the mission you've been given. Comment this right now if you're committed. I execute with precision. Because you don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your structure. Let's go deeper. Trigger number 12, the momentum tracker. This is where it gets simple and deadly effective. Each day, at the end of your power block, you write down 3 things. 1 thing you accomplished, 1 thing you felt proud of, 1 way you showed up different than the old you. That's it. 3 lines a day, 30 days straight. By the end, you'll have written 90 new pieces of evidence that you are not the same person anymore. You can't argue with 90 receipts. You can't fake consistency. You can't deny your evolution. And when that old voice of doubt tries to crawl back in, you'll have a whole journal of proof that says, you're wrong. I'm not who I used to be. Look at where you are now. You started this 30-day journey hoping something would change. But now you're the one making it change. You're not waiting for motivation. You're building systems. You're not reacting to life. You're designing it. You've gone from inspiration to action, from emotion to structure, from drifting to driving. This is who you are now, a person of structure, a person of focus, a person of relentless clarity. And in the final chapter, Part 7, we're going to seal it all. The final trigger, the final identity, the final message to the world that says, I am no longer available for a small life. You ready?
You made it. Maybe you didn't think you would. Maybe there were moments, maybe even yesterday, when quitting seemed easier. But here you are, still standing,
still watching, still hungry. And I need you to understand something. Right here, right now. This isn't the end. This is the rebirth. Because what you've done in these 30 days, if you've actually done it, has restructured your brain, your energy, your habits, your identity. You didn't just tweak your life. You burned the blueprint of who you used to be. But here's what matters now. Will it last? Because life will try to pull you back. Stress will return. Old friends will resurface. Fear will whisper again. And the comfort zone will offer you a chair, a drink, and a soft excuse. So here's what we do. We make this transformation unbreakable. Trigger number 13, public declaration. Right now, today, record a message to your future self. Look into a camera, look into a mirror, or just write it down. And say this. This is who I am now. This is how I show up. This is what I commit to. No more waiting, no more shrinking, no more hiding. I am done being available for the version of me that settles. And then, list it, out loud. The habits you now live by, the standards you no longer compromise, the vision that guides you, the things you will no longer tolerate, the person you have decided to become. This is your anchor point. You do this now and come back to it every Sunday, you'll never slide back into the old story because you've written a new one and it's tattooed into your nervous system. Right now, type this in the comments, bold, all caps. This is who I am now. Say it. Mean it. Let the algorithm hear it. Let the world feel it. Because the real you, the one who's been buried under years of shame, fear, hesitation, isn't hiding anymore. You're here. And now, you build. Trigger number 14. Build something that outlives you. If you want this to last 30 days, you'll need habits. If you want it to last 30 years, you'll need a mission. So ask yourself, what can I build that lives beyond me? It could be a YouTube channel that inspires others with your story. It could be a book, a movement, a mentorship program. It could be a company that solves a problem no one else is solving. Or it could be the way you raise your children, the way you love your partner, the legacy of presence you leave behind when you walk into any room. The point is this: when your life becomes more than just your life, that's when it becomes bulletproof. Because now it's not just about you waking up early. It's about the thousands of people watching what you do when life gets hard. It's not just about you journaling your goals. It's about your kids, your audience, your community learning what it looks like to lead yourself. And when you make that shift, you go from fragile to foundational, from temporary to timeless. Mini climax, the ultimate identity. So who are you now? You are not a dabbler. You are not a someday dreamer. You are not a prisoner of your past. You are a creator, a builder, a quiet warrior of vision and discipline. You are not waiting for permission. You are not asking for validation. You are living aligned with your calling. Let the world adjust. And if you ever forget who you are, come back to this. You faced the lies. You rewired the identity. You structured your focus. You leveraged your emotion. You declared your mission. You executed with discipline. And now, you walk with authority. Because nothing changes your life like deciding you're the one who changes lives. If you've made it through all 7 parts, you're not here by accident. This was for you. Your old self brought you here, but your new self keeps you moving. So now it's your turn. Build the thing. Start the channel. Write the post. Send the message. Take the leap. Not tomorrow, not next year,
now. Because you already know the next 30 days could just be another month of your life, or the month that rewrote everything. You choose.